Why can your brain make a story this weird while you are asleep? I mean, think about it. Your eyes are closed, right? The room is totally quiet, lights are out, and your body is perfectly still under those warm covers. By all outside appearances, you're just completely powered down for the night. But inside your head? Oh man, a massive, big budget, totally wild movie is just getting started. And get this, you are the star, the director, and the audience, all at the exact same time. Have you ever laid in bed just wondering what on earth is actually going on inside your mind when you drift off? It's honestly one of the coolest, most spectacular mysteries of the human body. And scientists, well, they've been trying to crack this code for centuries.
So, imagine this. You're suddenly riding a skateboard on the moon. The gravity is super low, so you jump and land this absolutely epic slow-motion kickflip right over a crater. And then, completely out of nowhere, a giant talking sandwich rolls up and politely asks you for directions to the nearest intergalactic skate park. Now, obviously that makes absolutely no sense in the real world, right? But while you're asleep, it feels totally 100% real. You don't question the moon gravity, and you certainly don't question the talking sandwich. But why? Why does our brain build these bizarre, totally impossible worlds for us every single night?
So, let's look at Section 1, the nighttime brain movie. To solve this mystery, we first got to understand what we're actually dealing with here. You see, a dream isn't just a series of random pictures flashing behind your eyelids. Not at all. It's a full, immersive experience created entirely by your sleeping brain. We're talking detailed pictures, loud sounds, really intense feelings, complex stories, the actual sensation of movement, and incredibly bold ideas. And you might be wondering, well, why do they feel so incredibly real while we're in them? It's actually because the control areas in your brain for imagination, memory, and emotion stay highly active even when you're completely knocked out. Now, scientists are still studying dreams right this second, and while they don't have one single final answer for exactly why we dream just yet, they know for a fact our brains are definitely not just shutting down for the night. Instead, certain parts of your brain are literally lighting up like a busy city grid. Moving on to Section 2, the sleep cycle mystery. Okay, so sleep is not just one long, flat state of resting. It actually happens in a repeating wave or cycle all night long. Each full cycle takes about 90 minutes. When your head first hits the pillow, you drift into light sleep, where, you can still be woken up pretty easily. Then you sink way down into deep sleep. This part is super important because that's when your body is hard at work repairing muscles and growing bones. After that, you rise back up into this fascinating stage called REM sleep. And then the whole cycle repeats multiple times before your alarm clock finally rings. Now, dreams can actually happen in any of these stages, even the non-REM ones. But those really intense, wild, movie-like stories with the talking sandwiches, yeah, those usually happen a bit later in the cycle. And that brings us right to the most famous part of the night, REM sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement. During this stage, your brain is firing off electricity and is just incredibly active. Your eyes are actually darting around rapidly under your closed eyelids, almost like you're watching a really fast tennis match in the dark. This REM stage is strongly linked with the most vivid, story-like dreaming. And hey, here is an absolutely wild scientific fact about REM sleep. While your brain is busy directing this blockbuster movie, it sends a special signal down your spinal cord to temporarily paralyze your muscles. No, really, it does this to keep you safe. This way, if you're dreaming about running a marathon or landing that lunar kickflip, your actual legs stay perfectly still in bed. All right, here is Section 3, sorting memories and feelings. So, what is the brain actually doing with all this nighttime energy? Well, think of it kind of like this. During the day, your brain is constantly collecting puzzle pieces. Every single thing you do is a new piece. We're talking bits of a math lesson at school, a really funny joke your friend told you, the smell of pizza at lunch, or even just a random thought you had about a dog on a spaceship. At night, your brain doesn't just store these pieces away in perfectly neat, boring boxes. Nope. Instead, it pulls them all out and starts arranging them into strange, brand new pictures. That's exactly why you might dream about taking a math test in a pizza parlor with a dog who happens to be wearing an astronaut helmet. Your brain is just actively playing with the pieces of your life. Let's break down those massive nighttime jobs a little bit more. One major job is sorting memories. Just imagine your brain has this glowing brain librarian working the night shift. This incredibly smart librarian helps store the really important information you learned during the day, like maybe how to spell a tricky new word, and safely files it away in your memory banks. At the exact same time, the librarian lets less useful details, like, I don't know, what color shirt a random person on the bus was wearing, just safely fade away. The second massive job? Practicing emotions. Imagine a giant emotion weather map inside your head. Dreams basically give your brain a completely safe rehearsal space to practice big feelings: sunny joy, cloudy worry, or lightning fast surprise. So if you dream about showing up to school without your shoes on, it might just be your brain practicing how to handle a little bit of stress so you can be super brave and confident out in the real world. Which leads us to section 4, why dreams get weird. If the brain is just organizing memories and practicing feelings, why on earth do the stories make absolutely zero logical sense? Well, it all comes down to which parts of the brain are awake and which parts are sleeping. When you are awake, the logic center of your brain, specifically the prefrontal cortex right behind your forehead, is acting like a super careful editor. If your classroom suddenly turned into a spaceship in real life, your awake brain would instantly shout, "Wait a minute, that's completely impossible." But when you fall asleep, that careful editor takes a nap in the passenger seat. The logic center shuts down and your wild, totally unfiltered imagination takes over driving the car. Because the areas for careful planning and logic are quiet, impossible things suddenly feel completely normal. You don't even question it. You just accept that your dog now speaks fluent Spanish. Makes sense, right? Now, let's talk about Section 5, the case of scary dreams. Because our imagination is driving the car with absolutely no brakes and our emotions are highly active on that weather map, sometimes the car takes a turn into, well, kind of frightening places. It is incredibly important to know that bad dreams or nightmares are completely 100% normal. They happen to almost everyone, yep, adults included. They definitely do not predict the future, and having a bad dream does not mean there is anything wrong with you. Because dreams use strong emotions, a scary dream can happen simply if you feel a little stressed about a test, if you're fighting off a cold, or even if you just read a spooky story right before bed. It's really just the brain's weather map experiencing a little thunderstorm. Always remember that a scary dream is just a shadow in the dark. The very moment the lights go on, you realize it's just a harmless pile of laundry. And you want to know the absolute best trick to shrink that worry bubble? Just talk about it. If nightmares keep bothering you, always tell a trusted adult. Putting a scary dream into spoken words literally shrinks it right down to size and takes all its power away. Section 6. Where do dreams go? So the sun comes up, you open your eyes, and poof, the dream is just gone. Why do these incredibly vivid adventures vanish like morning mist the very second we wake up? Well, first off, during sleep, your brain simply does not store dream memories the same way it stores daytime events. It's basically using a completely different filing system. Imagine your brain writing the dream on a piece of paper and then throwing it right into the wind instead of locking it in a filing cabinet. Second, waking up suddenly during or right after a REM cycle makes it much easier to catch those papers before they blow away. And third, if you really want to catch these fading memories, try keeping a dream journal right by your bed. Waking up and doing some simple, quick drawings like, a moon, a rocket, or a giant sandwich before you even get out of bed can help you capture the adventure and spot incredibly fun patterns over time. You should definitely try it out tonight. Finally, Section 7, healthy sleep and wonder. Healthy sleep habits give your hard-working brain the absolute best environment to run its nighttime imagination lab. Keeping a steady bedtime is absolutely crucial because it sets your brain's internal clock, letting the librarian know exactly when their shift starts. Calming down before bed, like reading a good book instead of running around, helps the brain naturally transition from awake mode to sleep mode. You should also definitely avoid scary media at night. Because remember, the brain uses daytime puzzle pieces to build dreams, and you probably don't want spooky zombie puzzle pieces showing up in your nighttime movie, right? Keeping your bedroom cool, dark, and comfortable helps your body stay perfectly locked into that deeply restorative deep sleep. And lastly, talk about your daytime worries before your head hits the pillow so they don't show up on your emotion weather map at 2 a.m. Doing all these things pretty much guarantees you get an awesome night's rest. The brain is not just a thinking machine. It is also a storyteller. So the next time you wake up from a completely bizarre, funny, or totally wild dream, don't just brush it off as nothing. Think about what an amazing, creative, and active imagination you possess. I mean, your brain is a supercomputer that can rest your body, remember important math facts, safely practice complicated feelings, imagine impossible new worlds, and tell epic, blockbuster stories all at the exact same time. Isn't that just incredible? As you close your eyes tonight and the room gets quiet, what kind of movie do you think your brain will direct? Will it be a hilarious comedy, an action-packed adventure in deep space, a mysterious puzzle? Whatever it is, you have front row tickets to the greatest show on Earth, and it's happening right inside your own head. Sweet dreams.